Who's going to help the auto industry? Is it going to be the auto industry, or is it going to be you and me, where we get that hand down our wallet and suddenly they've got $25 billion? Well, yesterday, Mitt Romney wrote an article that appears in today's New York Times, and he talks about, you know, when my dad, before he became a politician, my dad actually ran American Motors, which of course Rambler, and then eventually became Jeep. And when his father took over, they were so close to bankruptcy, his father went out to the plants, talked to the people, said, this is what we're going to have to do, and turned that company around. He says that's what's got to happen right now with Detroit. He says when he went to business school, they were still talking about his father
as a model.
Exactly right, how they did it. They don't need a check, they need a turnaround.
Here's what he writes in today's New York Times. If General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler get the bailout that their chief executives asked for yesterday, you can kiss the American automotive industry goodbye. It won't go overnight, but its demise will be virtually guaranteed. That is very strong, coming from someone who knows the industry inside out.
He knows it, and maybe he should be in charge of it, quite frankly, because he's been a turnaround king in many other businesses.
We had our chance.
Including the Olympics. But maybe Mitt Romney would be a good person to be consulting right now. So pay attention, three automakers. Read this editorial in the New York Times today. Here's one of the things. He says he has several prescriptions for Detroit's automakers. One of them, of course, is to reduce the total burden put on these companies with these huge retirement packages. Here are the numbers. The extra burden estimated to be more than $2,000 per car. So he gives the example of the Ford Taurus. They need to cut $2,000 worth of features and quality out of their Taurus to compete with Toyota's Avalon, a similar car. Now, the $2,000 per car, that's a lot. Trust me, I know, because I come from a family of car dealers.
Right.
They're not making money selling new cars anymore.
Well, if they lose money on every car they manufacture, if you lose money doing the very thing for which you exist, you have to go out of business at some point.
It's a poor business model. If you're losing $1,000 on every copy, eventually you're going to need to do what Bob Nardelli, the CEO of Chrysler, did, go up to Capitol Hill yesterday with hat in hand and ask for the dough. Here's Senator Shelby, and there's a little give and take as we look at the top of the judge's head right there.
Sorry.
Beautiful hair.
We would assume to pay you back just like you would the investors.
Not me, the taxpayers.
The taxpayers.
How would you pay the money back?
Because we will generate profit, and we will have to return that. And just as we'll pay our debt down from our investors, we would pay it back to...
What if you don't, though?
Well, sir, we wouldn't be here today asking for this if we didn't have a high confidence level that we could weather this economic trough, continue to resize, make these gut-wrenching decisions to come out the other side leaner, more agile, and for us, a higher quality, higher reliable product.
He didn't answer the question.
But a lot of the gut-wrenching decisions of which he speaks, he can't make outside of bankruptcy because they are locked into contracts with the unions.
And dealers.
And dealers. In bankruptcy, a federal judge has the authority to modify those agreements so that the company can be profitable.
Well, so look at some of the ramifications of that. The hourly rates plus benefits for General Motors cars, $78 for those workers, versus Toyota at only $35. But here's another interesting point from the Mitt Romney prescription. He says just as important to the future of American car makers is the sales force. When sales are down, you don't want to lose the only people who can get them to grow. So don't fire the best dealers and don't crush them with new financial or performance demands they can't meet. Mitt Romney gets this problem. He gets this problem.
Steve's got it right. Toyota has 1,000 dealerships. GM has 7,000.
Sure, that's exactly right.
But don't crush the people who are out there selling your product for you.
Right, but they got so many of them, if they want to be competitive, that's what is going on. Just the other thing, and I said this on the program yesterday, it'll be interesting to see when the UAW guy is sitting there at the panel. Will he say, my union members are willing to also give up something, a piece of the pie? Yesterday, the guy, Ron Gettelfinger, said, we're not willing to give up anything because when the financial services industry got the $700 billion, you know, they talked about executive pay. They didn't talk anything about the rank and file. So I don't see why the UAW rank and file should give up anything. Wrong answer. Didn't want to hear that from you guys.
Congress could stop this by removing the monopoly power that the UAW has
exactly right.
and let other unions represent some of the workers who would rather be represented by other unions.
That's an intriguing point.
Don't expect it to happen with this Congress, but if they're interested in the free market, let the unions compete with each other.
All right, how do you guys like to watch fireworks?